Hello boys, hello boys, hello boys, hello boys. This is a build that I was recommended to try out by one of you boys. So I want to shout out to Maddie. Maddie told me about this idea he was working on for a Mang Paladin with synergies and Holy Shock maxed out to really focus on that pulse damage, but to also have a really nice themed looking build, because not many people use this incredibly rare staff. So shout out to Maddie on this one. So what we're going to be using is Max Foe, Fist of the Heavens, and also Max Holy Shock. So we're going to have this aura, we're not getting it from dreams. Okay? So, we're going to have very large Holy Shock pulse damage up to 1 over 5k. Remember, this doesn't actually take into account your minus res, and we do have conviction on the mercenary. But also, maximizing Holy Shock to get that pulse damage is also going to add single target on our Fist of the Heavens up to 5500, as you can see on the stat here. Now, let's get into it, boys. Stat, skills, and gear, and then we're going to show some Players 8 gameplay, because this is pretty damn strong. So, good stuff to you, Maddie. So, strength is not too high, and neither is the dexterity, which is very nice. So, you could probably even save a bit more here if you spec it right and have the charms, which is good. So, you can invest more into vitality and put a little bit extra into energy if you'd like to. Now, resistances are pretty good actually across the board. You can mix a little bit of a few charms to get that up to the top. So there's a few lightning res here that Maddie put on there, which I thought kind of fit pretty well. Another few things that you can change about is obviously change out maybe a ring like this, an SOJ, and also some boots to kind of maximize your resistances. But for the most part, it's okay. It is important to try and get those up to a decent level, particularly since we're using a two-handed and we don't have access to a shield like a typical Paladin build. Over to skills. So, as I showed before, we're using Fist of the Heavens as the main damage dealer. So max Holy Bolt synergy for Holy Bolt damage when that explodes out for AoE, to damage towards demons and undead, but also Holy Shock directly to targets. So that's 7% per level. So we've got 20 into Holy Bolts, we've got 20 down here. We aren't using a shield, so there's no point getting Holy Shield. And we've got 1 point wonders all the way down to get to Fist of the Heavens. Now, offensive auras, we're just running Holy Shock. We don't need anything else. So that is going to be bumped up to 20, and we do have a few skills in our inventory just to get that up for our pulse lightning damage. Okay? Down to defensive auras, we only have synergies towards Holy Shock, so that's Salvation and Resist Lightning, as you boys know, 12% per level and then 4% per level. Let's get into the gear. So this is the main piece of the build, is Mang Songs. This is a very rare, I don't even know the odds off the top of my head, but it's one of the crazy rare unique items that you'd be lucky if you get before, you know, the last 10 in your Holy Grail, if you're doing one by yourself. But this massive stick has 5 to all skills, 30 cast rate, and it has a whopping minus 15% enemy res across the board, minus poison. So you've got 15 cold, lightning, and fire, assuming max perfect stat rolls. So we have one socket in here which we've chucked a facet, so that gives us an extra +5 and then minus 20% on the staff with the 5 plus skills. So that's huge just to buff up our Holy Shock. You can see 52 down to 41 if we take that sucker off. Now the rest of our gear is going to be focused towards plus skills, but also lightning, so you can expect something like this, which is a Griffin's. So we do have a facet in here to get minus 25 and plus 20 to show you that maximum damage output. Moving on, we have a unique chest plate here, which has 24 faster hit recovery. This plate allows us to put in 4 facets to max out that lightning damage for single target foe, as well as that Holy Shock pulse, and this is going to look nice and gold to match our Mang Songs, specifically the hit recovery. So if you guys find this when shopping through different vendors, Archon plate is quite rare and hard to find with 4 sockets and this mod. You'd be more likely to find something that is a full plate mail, Gothic plate, or a ancient armor. So I can show you here what typically he does sell over at Larzik. So you could see mainly full plate mails, mainly Gothic plate and ancient armor. But you definitely can shop this from a vendor. So Finishing off the gear, we have Mage Fists. We just have this for a little bit more FCR, but again, you can drop this for more res and other stuff if you'd like to. Now, we are using Fist of the Heavens, which has a global cooldown, so you don't need super crazy cast rate. That's up to you, boys. But that's what we have. We have 2 SOJs in here for plus skills for max damage. That's beautiful. Same with Arachnids there. And then the Talias to cap off a little bit more resistances to get us to a comfortable level. For the amulet, I highly recommend Mara's. I looked at a few other options than what Maddie put here, but I see why he did put this in. It does complement the build quite well, and particularly since we're using a two-handed on a Paladin, we don't have access to something like this, which would be, you know, a native up to 45 res shield, like our Spirit that we have on Switch with our CTA. So the rest of the charms, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offensive auras. We have a bunch of resistance and life to get that packed up, and then a couple of 11 res. So we can fit a little bit more, and you guys can mix match depending on what your gear is to really, you know, play Tetris with your res and charms. We've got a Sunder, we have a Pally Torch, and we have an Annihilus there. Now, on the Mercenary, we have a Holy Freeze Mercenary. We want to slow enemies down when they're in radius, so then that's easier for them to take more ticks of Holy Shock Pulse before they get in melee range of us, but also to make it easier for them to clump together, so we can just Fist of the Heavens and destroy a very, very good pack of mobs with high AoE. Chains of Honor for +2, a little bit of Leech and some good resistances, Cham in the Demon Head, and Infinity in our Thrisher. These two can obviously be ethereal. Now, let's go over to gameplay so I can show you this is on Players 8. Yes, it is. But pretty much what we want to do is cast Fist of the Heavens, stay at range. We're going to be charging round and changing all our hotkeys to the left-hand side so we can maintain Holy Shock Pulse. One thing that Maddie did point out is with this that we don't really want Enigma because when we're teleporting, we have to key that on the right. But if we charge, we can put that on the left key to maintain Holy Shock Pulse while we're moving around. So we want to maximize as much lightning damage as we can when we're shooting down boys with bolts from the heavens. So let's switch over here and let's get Battle Command up. And then also our Battle Orders, so you can see my specs are 35. I've got about 1100. Pretty damn good. Holy Bolt's 59. And then we have Holy Shock Pulse is pretty much 5400, which is banger. If we go over to stats here and we look at our minus res, minus 65 to enemy lightning res, plus 45 to lightning skill damage. When we press W, we have that on top for Fist of the Heavens. So if I change this here, just to show you the stat damage before we get in, that's 5700. We could see 5794 for lightning. Holy Bolt damage is 3376. So let's show some Players 8 gameplay. You can see when I charge around, I'm going to keep that Holy Shock on right, which is important. Shell Rune, no one cares. And Undead can get wrecked from those bolts. Brilliant, then we can move on. You can use charge if you'd like to. It's not too bad. With our Holy Shock, we deal a lot of melee damage too. But our attack rating is a little bit trash, so you know, be mindful of that. You're probably better off going back and repositioning and then using your foe just a single target. So focusing on farming areas that have demons and undead as a primary is definitely something I would suggest. And if you guys are pretty queued up on using foe already, then you already know that without me having to tell you. Nice. Not too bad for Players 8. Let's find somewhere else we can go that has some undead. I think I might do Halls of Pain. There's a few undead in there. We also have some over in Arcane Sanctuary. We could try that. Bugger it. Let's go Arcane. Hey, boys. Lightning's not too bad in that area. And then, you know, we've got those wraiths which we can shoot quite well with these bolts. So let's give that a whirl. So again, Players 8. Nice. Oops, switch back. I do like having the range, it's quite nice. If you're only farming a select few areas with this, then you could probably drop the CTA and chuck a staff on switch. Nausea's would be great, it has cast rate already on it, and we already have a few bits stacked as well, such as the Griffins with cast rate and Mage Fist currently, so that would be a good option, still maintain high frames and then teleport to areas for farming, like if you want to do Neelithark, but then again that's a good place to run through in Halls of Pain, as I mentioned it before. I thought I clicked that portal. There we go. Sacred Brondage, any good? No. Who cares? Such a cool themed Paladin that can really deal a lot of damage. Max foe in any regard is, you know, definitely viable in areas. It's such a great spell since they, you know, updated it. It was really slept on for a while and didn't really have much use. But they've really brought it to the forefront of other meta builds and being able to utilize it in different ways. I think Mang Songs just makes it that much more fun. Let's go get this chest in the top left, and then I do want to go back to Halls of Pain. That's a nice area of different density with some beasts as well to show you how that handles, you know, different mobs that can't actually be hurt by these holy bolts. So that's something to keep in mind with this build. Ithrune, no one cares. We got a ring. Should we check the ring? Why not, boys? Oh, that was worthless. Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. Look at that gold staff. It's so sick. I wish the helm would match. I suppose we could change that out for something if we would like to. Find a gold helm. Where is Halls of Pain? Here we go. Alright. Still on Players 8. As you can see here, beasts are a little bit annoying. We're kind of stuck to about single target when we do that. Something we could do is potentially use Zeal, but our attack rating is beyond poor. I mean, we have minus enemy defenses from the Conviction, so if you have to, that's an alternative to try and close down those targets that are beasts and you can't actually hurt. So let's bugger off past here. Whee! There you go, that shows you the single target damage. Need more room. There we go, a little bit more room for that. Cool. If you're not planning to play Players 8 with this, that's fine. You don't need to. It'll be melting through a lot of these areas, but since I don't showcase too much of Players 8 off mid, I thought, bugger it, let's just do it. Anything on Evilune? Yes. Alright, there we go. Make sure you stay within that Holy Shock radius so they can get that 5k every single second when that ticks over. That's important, especially with those beast enemies and those that aren't, you know, demons and undead. But there you go, boys. That's the Mang song Foe Paladin on Players 8. Thanks again, Maddie, for this one. But just a reminder, if you boys have other ideas and other builds that you want to suggest that we can try, or maybe Theorycraft on stream, join the Discord down below. Share your ideas there on the Theorycrafting channel. I also have builds there as well that I upload, so you can download my character files of my videos like this when I get around to making them, and then you can play with those yourself and, you know, give me criticisms and tell me what a waste of time I'm doing. But other than that, I'll see you boys around. Take it easy.